Thank you so much. Yeah.
So,
Hello,
Madhav,
everyone.
we are starting with E2 today. As you can see, the first chapter is the concept of business ecosystem.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. So,
Hi.
okay. So we're talking about ecosystem. Ecosystem is beyond environment, and it helps us to understand how businesses are depend on different stakeholders and obviously different systems. Previously, let's say there is a supplier and all, they might be just move on from one to another to save cost. But now they have to look for the longer term. They have to work as a partners. Then only business will be successful. And on the top of that, now there is new term is digital ecosystem, because the dependency on technology is increasing from the business point of view. Okay, a digital ecosystem is a complex network of stakeholders that connect online and interact digitally in ways that create value for all. Every digital ecosystem extend across multiple industries. So if you just talk about technology or IT is not an independent industry. It is part of every industry though. And with the growing time, every industry is getting digitized. So digital ecosystem, digital presence, even if you see in our pre-scene also, they have mentioned how our sales are moving from offline to online, how people are booking more online, though we still have our stores located, but even the trend shows with the coming time it will be reduced. So one point we got as an opportunity is we have to make our digital ecosystem strong, make our IT dependency strong. Then the external competitive environment for industry and businesses similarly changing rapidly, as these emerging technologies create an environment that is connected and open. It's more connected than before, and obviously it is changing. The proliferation of mobile devices, internet access, they are saying. So one of the reason is mobile devices and internet access. Because of this, everything is becoming transparent now, accessible now. Even customers or stakeholders nowadays are demanding more transparency. Simple and intelligent, reduce complexity, increase insight of data interpretation, fast and scalable. So for business also, it is easier for them to analyze the data. For example, in our case, we can see what kind of packages are selling more, which cost is selling more, how we can add value to that, what is customers review, okay, what are the pinpoints or pain points there, how we can improve it, and at the same time which type of holiday packages is not giving us profit or is going in loss. We can think to stop that or maybe change to a newer location. So all kind of data analysis can be done. This is very basic chapter actually. Then drivers of digital revolution. Why digital revolution is coming in? I'm just talking about general. If organizations are to meet these ever-changing needs, it is important that they understand the key drivers behind such change. The following are identified as key factors. First is mobile and internet penetration. We already discussed. If you just see 10 years back, there was no that much internet penetration. Especially if you talk about in developing countries, it was even less, and the cost was also very high. Same with the mobile devices. Second is data analytics and the cloud. Data analytics is on very much demand now. If you search something on Google and if you go on YouTube after a minute also, or even less than a minute, you'll get an advertise. So the algorithm is doing so fast. Then cloud, saving data on cloud. What is cloud? Saving data on a remote location. Because of cloud, every company is having enough amount of data which they can use to analysis later on. Next is user interfaces have been improved for the convenience of the users. Global accessibility, I think our class itself is an example. Now we have we still are very few people, but we are from 3 different continents. In fact, 4 different continents, I would say. So global accessibility because of the technology. Then increasing urbanization. More and more people are moving to bigger cities. And that is also one of the reasons that digital revolution is happening, because still in smaller towns or villages, the internet penetration is not that high. So a lot of population is moving from farming to other sources of income. And obviously, technology is a part of every other industry. So how we have to look and relate to our pre-scene is definitely there is a digital revolution. We have to be more proactive in our business with the digital strategy. Digital strategy can be used in marketing, can be used in sales, and very importantly in cybersecurity, and to make our service better, ultimately adding value to the business. Business models for traditional models. Another thing is pestle issues also affect it. First is political influences and events, legislation, government policies, changes to competition policy or import duties, etc. That can also affect. For example, in our business, we are into Westland, right? Now, let's say most of our clients are going to Eastland, and now geopolitical situation is not good between Eastland and Westland. So definitely it will affect our business. Or sometimes government itself will put certain policies which will not be in favor of that. Second is economic influences. A multinational company will be concerned about the international situation, while an organization dealing exclusively in one country might be more concerned with the level and timing of domestic development. Items of information relevant to marketing plans might include changes in gross domestic product, GDP, changes in customer income and expenditure, population growth. So a lot of things make up economic situation. Again, if you see, traveling is not a basic need. Though a lot of companies motivate their employees, they give holiday pay and all, but still in a lot of countries, people, unless they are well-to-do, they don't go for travel, especially international travel. So economic situation play a very important role, especially if tomorrow Happywell want to go to a new country. So we have to be very careful about the economic situation there. Population growth. Why population growth, or basically demography, we can say it is important. This has been highlighted in the pre-scene also. What age group of people are traveling more? Based on that, what are their likes and dislikes? So we can see what is the population now of the country and how much it will be next year or in 5 years time, what kind of location they will like, and we can start planning for that. Next is social influences. Include social, cultural and demographic factors, that is population shifts, age profiles, etc. And refers to attitudes, value and belief held by people, also changes in lifestyle, education and health and so on. Social influence, for example, if you see, if I talk about Asian culture, people are more into saving. If you compare to the Western, they are more into exploring. People definitely travel to different places. So that is one of the part of society's belief. Another part can be the lifestyle. If they get some bonuses, some will choose, okay, let's go for travel. Others will say, I want to refurbish my house, I want to buy a car, things like that. That will also affect the thing. Next is technological influences. Changes in material supply, processing methods, and new product development. For us, technology can be, we can help people with the translator. Obviously, when they're going into new country, most of them will not understand the language. So translator might help. Second is legal influences. Changes in laws and regulations affecting, for example, competition, patents, sale of goods, pollution, working regulation, and industrial standards. Other than that, legal can be, a lot of pollution will happen with our aircraft. So maybe government will come up with a new law, right? Secondly, for our operations also, legal thing can become for the pay. Let's say minimum wage is going up. That can also be a problem. Then working regulation is changing, more of health and safety is required. That's also a change. Any change in industrial standard, usually this is part of luxury goods, so indirect taxes can go up. Let's say VAT is increased. That can also be a legal influence. Next is ecological and environmental influences. This includes the impact the organization has on its external environment in terms of pollution, etc. It's can be related to legal also, but environment is this one, and sometimes we can even talk about the effect on society. That's also part of environment. Here social is about influence, but here environment and society can also come together, especially certain businesses where they do mining and other things, that influences will be very high. It's not necessary we have to think for all in our Happywell scenario, but whatever is important, basically the things that can be a big risk or big reward for us. Okay, any confusion here?
Nope, no
Nope, all good.
confusion on my side.
Okay, thank you. Next is Porter's 5 forces. Porter's 5 forces gives us an idea about the environment, or sometimes we can say about the industry also. For example, new entrants. So what is the probability of new entrants coming in? Let's say in our business, new entrants coming in, probability, entry barriers are still low, but the problem is coming in here and doing business is a lot of intangibles required, okay, and even a good amount of tangibles. I mean, they can still operate without owning the aircrafts and hotels like us, but they need to have a contract, they need to have brand, they need to invest in the hotels, they need to invest in partnership. So entry barriers remains high, medium to high we can say. Then rivalry among competitor, existing competition and its intensity. Definitely this is not a something new industry, it is like from decades and decades. So rivalry is already high. We have global companies, we have nationalized companies, and a lot of bigger companies have also diversified into this because this is a high margin business. Next is substitutes. This threat is across industries. Rail travel can be bus travel can be private car. So there are different types of substitute. One substitute is same work through a different things, like instead of going for air, they'll go by rail. Other kind of substitute can be instead of going to travel, like I said, they want to buy a car or refurbish their house, things like that. That's also a substitute. So we have to see what kind of substitute can be for the clients other than going for holidays. Let's say we are having corporate clients. So corporate clients, companies can give an option. Either you go for holidays internationally or we'll give you some money in your account. Next is power of buyers. Power of buyers. Powerful buyers can force price cuts and quality improvements. Why price cuts? Let's say everybody is providing the same service. Let's say we have certain location. We have talked about people want to go in a place where they get beach, where they get sun. Okay. So let's say everybody is going there. So definitely there will be a price cut or price war can come on. So we have to again adjust with that, or we have to give a massive quality. Next is power of suppliers. Power of suppliers can charge higher prices, forcing down profit margin. So in our service industry, we don't have power of suppliers or suppliers as such, but suppliers can be, generally talking about industry can be aircraft. Let's say tomorrow we need to buy more aircrafts, or we cannot buy, we have leased it, or we are in contract. That can be a supplier. Then hotels, we are tying up with the new hotels. That also become a supplier. If they ask you higher margin, if they ask you higher share in profit, so what will happen? Automatically our profit margins will be reduced. So how this can be utilized is if they ask you about anything risk and things. Okay, so you can bring certain risk from Preseen Analysis, certain risk from Porter's 5 forces, all of this. They don't ask you in exam what is Porter's 5 forces, what is Preseen. However, this is to understand the Preseen. Then Porter's 3 generic strategies. So usually the product or service is either a cost leader, which is like just focusing on the least possible cost. Second is differentiation. Differentiation is like something which gives an extra value. People are ready to pay extra for it. Let's say BMW car compared to a normal Tata cars. Then focus, considering only a small part of market. This can be a focus differentiation or a cost leader differentiator. Let's say in car industry, it can be Rolls Royce, Ferrari, this kind of business. So we have to understand what kind of business we are. What do you think our business lies in the three? Happywell. Where does Happywell come in?
It's the second one, right?
Yeah.
Because our focus is more on quality instead of cost.
Right.
Yeah, I also think it's the differentiation strategy because they're not focusing on a specific type of market. They're just focusing on people who want to travel in general, and they're more quality driven, so they don't mind compromising on the cost.
Right. Very good. So they have mentioned this, I think, 2-3 times only in the pre-scene that they are more focused on the quality than the pricing. So definitely we fall in differentiation. So differentiation, you have to be offer more innovative products, constant coming up with the new things. Basically, you have to justify because you are costlier than the cost leader businesses. Then value creation, value capture in business ecosystem. They have given this also how you create value, how you retain value, all of this. Direct value capture, for example, when they buy a ticket on public transport, value capture is instantaneous and corresponds with transaction immediately. But for us, value capture is they might book earlier, but they'll travel, let's say, after 6 months or something. Indirect value capture, buying a pass for all public transport in a city for unlimited trips. That is indirect. In our cases, apart from the travel, they're getting other types of leisure things or some other things. We are helping them. That can be indirect value creation. Goals of business ecosystem may include driving new collaborations to address rising social environmental challenge, harnessing creativity and innovation to lower the cost of production or allow members to reach new customers. So basically, it's more of collaborating rather than doing on our own. And ultimately, it can be a new way to create fundamental human needs and desires. So every business have to come up with the strategy to capture value. I think for us, they have already given in the pre-scene. Did you guys remember how we are capturing value? Creating value, capturing value. It's on page number 19. Okay, I'll share the pre-scene one second. Yeah. Can you see?
Yes.
Just read it once, all of you, and explain what it's talking about. Okay, what do you understand basically from that? Take 1 minute, read it. You know, same business like us in the same industry, same market can define value in a different way. And obviously, when they're defining different way, they'll capture also in a different way. Done? Yeah. Are you guys done?
Yep.
Yes. Hanan, can you start?
Yes. So defining value basically means how Happywell offers multiple travel packages that basically appeal to the West Indian market. The other one, creating value, talks about how Happywell um, um, offers packages, but they also offer like accommodation, like hotels and stuff. Because if you compare to Mango's Air, they don't really have their own aircrafts and hotels, but Happywell they actually do. And delivering value, it talks about how most of the business is done online, so anyone can just go online and have a look at the packages. But if you want to go in store, then there's also stores available if you want to speak to a tour guide or like a tour operator, so they can advise you as well. The last one talks about how Happywell its focus or is main so its focus is mostly on quality but not really cost, but because of that their costs are controlled as well, and their income is maximized.
Okay. What about capturing residual value?
I mentioned that, right? So Happywell, it focuses more on the quality, but not really the cost. Like it's not, so it's not the most cheapest holiday package operator in the market. So, and this is because it's focusing more on the quality, right? If you buy from other tour operators, they might have cheaper packages, but they might not be as good as the packages offered by Happywell.
Yes. Okay. Good job. Who's next? Promise. Can you try?
Yeah, I can try. So with the value definition, right? I think this is about like basically the product and services that Happywell provides. So what it values. So it mentions that it offers like a wide range of customer experiences through their packages, so that they appeal to their customers. And then value creation. I think Happywell is creating value by being like vertically integrated, allowing Happywell to have better control over the company. And then with delivering value, it's mainly about how it brings about the value to their customers. So it mentions that it offers their products and services through either online or in person through the 311 shops that it has across their country. And then with capturing residual value, right, Happywell captures it by providing value for money, allowing Happywell to capture the extra value created for its stakeholders across the company.
All right. Yeah. Madhav, want to try? Madhav, can you hear me? Madhav, are you there? Okay, others, can you hear me? Anand, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yes.
I think Madhav can't hear me. All right. So let's go forward then. So please remember, usually this question is asked related to defining value, creating value, delivering and capturing residual value. Okay. Complexities, orchestration they have given. Just ignore that. High, low. Okay, what does the digital customer want? So basically what our customer wants, especially the new customers, let's say the young customers, they're wanting contextualized interactions. Whatever industry it is, especially in our business, contextualized interactions may be for us helping them to make a very tailored package, even if it is tailored by normal. You can even sub tailor it according to the food needs, according to the bed, or according to rooms with window. We can go as detailed as possible. The detail we go and we make them select, it will be welcomed by the clients. Second is seamless experience across channel. From being made aware that a product or service exists to doing the research about the product or service. So basically they want to have same experience from the time they start to the service they get. Sometimes what happens, our service is very good, but the booking system is not good. So that might even make us lose the client. Next is anytime, anywhere. There is an expectation of being able to access real-time information about a product or service. So we have to keep updating our information on data. Connectivity should be good. Our servers should be well maintained. We should have data backup centers, maybe mirror kind of system. So if there is any problem, immediately within minutes, we can switch to new servers. Great service, it doesn't matter who provides it. So nowadays, retaining customer has become even difficult because clients can quickly move. Brand loyalty is becoming difficult to manage. Next is self-service. Customers are prepared to invest more time and energy into getting exactly what they want. Innovations such as 3D printing are an example of just how this is becoming possible. Next is transparency. The digital customer expects to have full transparency of information about a product or service before they commit to a purchase. So in our case, what can be a transparency? We can say how far is the hotel from the airport, how far is it from a beach, what will providing in food, what kind of travel service, is it a bus, is it a car, okay, what is the currency, okay, how much it will be cost, on other expenses they have, as much as possible. So if they ask you any question in exam saying how we can improve the experience, you can talk about these points. All right. Any questions in the first chapter? Hello.
No
Any
questions.
no questions. Okay, that was quite logical.
No question.
Number 2 is chapter alternative approaches to business model. Alternative approaches is basically we just discussed about defining, creating one is related to same thing only. So different business will create value in different way. First they'll define in a different way, then they'll try to create in a different way. They measure it in a different way. Okay, and how they deal with the shareholders. That is all about traditional business model. So previously it was only about shareholders and earning profit. But now if you see, they are talking about all other stakeholders also. Again, coming to the ecosystem. Like identify stakeholder, prioritize stakeholder, needs of stakeholder, formulative value proposition, segmentations and channels, partners, resources, processes and all, cost model, revenue model, sharing surplus, all of this. Next is the traditional approach to stakeholder analysis is demonstrated by use of Mendel's matrix. High interest, low interest, high power, low power. I told you guys to work on it. I think Hanan has already done. I'll share a file with Madhav and Promise. You guys also come up with this. Okay, what we have to do is we have to make a list of at least 15 to 20 stakeholders and try to put them under this 2x2 model. Which of them required low interest and high power? Which of them have high interest and high power? Like high interest and high power will be board of directors. Low interest and low power will be normal society. High interest and low power will be our employees. Okay, high interest and high power can be our clients also. Not individual client, but if they are a corporate client, a very big client. Individual client can be low power and high interest. When we talk about high interest and high power, we are considering how they can influence us to make a decision or how they can influence our strategy. Obviously, they have power, but how strong they have. Let's say key players are there, you definitely cannot ignore them. Okay. So make a list of this. This will help us to understand and manage the stakeholder in a better way. Once the list is ready, based on that, we can identify which one to prioritize, establish and identify the priority stakeholders, formulate value proposition that meet the needs of high priority stakeholders. Creating value by careful management of stakeholders can be through partners, resources, processes, activities, outputs, and all. Process can be tangible, intangible. Resource can also be both tangible and intangible. Each stakeholder can be ranked according to power, ability to impose their will, legitimacy, urgency. These things also we can consider. Why urgency? Because different situation, different stakeholder can get high power and high interest. Let's say government generally will have high power, but they don't have high interest how you operate internally. But if there is any fraud or anything, legal laws have been broken, they'll get high interest. So it can change according to the situation. But what list we are making is through normal situation. Definitely it can change with the time. For example, customers need good services and experience. They contribute loyalty and the benefit to the firm is financial. That is higher revenue. Values captured when revenue earned from delivering values exceed the cost of creating value. So basically, if we are earning more than we are spending, the cost, definitely we create a value. Create a value, basically we generate profit. Simple. Firm will share this surplus with the stakeholders who contribute to and have been part of the value creation process, but have not yet received any value themselves. So we create value for all the stakeholders. Like for example, government we pay taxes, shareholders we pay dividends, employees we give them incentives and salaries, and for the business we retain some money for the future expenses, or sometimes we retain it for other investments. We can prioritize stakeholders, but we cannot make decisions saying only shareholders are important. Basically, this is like an overview of the chapter. This is enough actually for case study. Okay. If you want to go, we can share the entire textbook. You can have a glance on that. Any confusion, you can ask us. However, this has been done with the few previous students also, and it was enough. You just need to focus on the stakeholder management. Primarily, whatever they are talking about, we need to apply to Happywell. Then that exercise is effective. Okay. Any confusion on stakeholder and their management?
No, all good.
No.
Madhav, are you back? Okay. Just 1 second, let me see. Yeah. So we'll go to the next chapter. That is business models in digital ecosystem. Strategies to build disruptive business model. So basically, what is disruption? Disruption is when something comes up and fundamentally change or destroy the current way of doing business. For example, if you see how taxis were there in different countries, they're working more of local people, organized business. But now when Uber came, it disrupted it. Then we know about online business. Amazon kind of disrupted it. Disrupted means they made it in such a way it's very easier for the entire ecosystem. So what other businesses have to do is they have to do something similar to them to survive. Otherwise, they will be collapse. So firstly, as a business, you need to try to become a disruptor in the industry. Becoming disruptor is very difficult. If you cannot, at least you try to survive the disruption. If you cannot survive, the business will collapse. So what kind of approaches we can do? Companies need to fundamentally change the way they identify, develop, and launch new business ventures. 5 approaches are a combination of build, buy, partner, invest, and incubate, accelerate. First is build. The best thing is to build assets. Building new business model might be the best route when an opportunity is related to the company's core business. The benefits are that it typically maximizes control and minimizes cost in markets that a company must own because of their strategic importance. They can benefit by creating and developing new product and services. So first is you build in-house. If you cannot build it, you can just buy. This strategy is very common by big companies, especially listed companies. We can just talk about Happywell. If you cannot do something, and if you feel something new is coming up, let's say there is a startup, the best way to acquire it. In fact, if you see bigger companies like Google and all, they acquire companies just to avoid competition and sometime to get certain innovation from them. Even Facebook is an example, or Meta, we can say, inorganic growth. Where entering the market would be complex and difficult to pull in resources needed to run a business. Next is partner. A firm can use partnering with a digitally disruptor to learn more about the market and its partners model. A partnering approach is sensible when it makes sense to learn about emergent opportunities with an eye towards deeper partnership or acquisition in the future. We can partner with certain companies which is being a disruptor. Let's say it's so big you cannot buy them. Then you have to be a partner with them. Next is invest. Investing in interesting startups is often a valid option, allowing an established company to connect with the right skills and capabilities. It will also avoid hindering entrepreneurial forces with a setup focused on internal governance and reporting. So you must have heard a lot of companies keep investing in R&D. They do research work with certain universities. So all of this is to come up with something new. They are not doing it completely, but certain percentage of the revenue goes into that. And many times R&D will be just coming up as an expenses. However, it can be useful if something useful or something productive is coming out of it. Next is incubate. Represents a closer relationship to the funding company, deploying corporate internal capabilities and resources to the startups. Instead of giving buying the money, you can say, if some startup is coming on, we'll support you with our IT team, we'll support you with HR. So you try to become their friends. It's a close relationship. So whatever new they come up with, they might share the secret, they might share the technology with us. So at least we are not the victim of that, or we know beforehand what is happening. Incubator is a, in terms of disruption, Happywell should be ready with this type of work. Considering a company like us, which is already listed and big, we should try for building. Secondly, we can go for partnering and incubate. Even we can buy. I mean, almost all option is possible for us. We have financial situation. We can raise finance. Okay. All right.
Hi, sorry, miss, but can you please explain the incubate part again? I don't get it.
All right. Sure. Incubate represents a closer relationship to the funding company, deploying corporate internal capabilities, infrastructure, and resources to the startups. So, promise, what they're talking about here is, let's say you want to acquire certain company who might do a disruption in the future, but there may be two scenarios. The company might be quite expensive, or maybe the owners of the business are not ready to sell. They are saying, we know its future and we don't sell you. Then what you can do? So instead of buying that company or killing them, you can say, okay, let's become friends. You are a new company, you are in need of money, we'll give you funding. Let's say in debt or equity. Then you are a new company, will help you with understanding the laws. We can help you with the infrastructure we have built over the time. We'll help you with the resources. We'll help you with their contacts. So basically, you try to become friends or have a closer business relationship by helping them to grow. Why? Because when they come up tomorrow with disruption, that should not affect us. So that's a kind of risk management. You must have seen, when you see business news, a lot of companies, they just invest certain percentage and become a shareholder. Many times they are not controlling it, but they are in the same industry. Why they are doing it? Because it's kind of closer relationship. They'll understand what's happening there. Sometimes they'll copy and do a R&D similar to that in their company. There will be conflict of interest, ethical issue is there, but still businesses will do it. Are you getting the point?
All right, thank you. I understand now. Yeah, I get it now. Thank you.
If you cannot buy it, at least you become the friends. This will happen when you are very much confident that they are doing something which will definitely change it forever, how business is done in those sectors. Okay.
All right, thank you. I get it now.
You're welcome. Next is the World Economic Forum digital transformation. Same thing they have mentioned in the previous chapter also. What they actually want. Innovation. Innovation should be more of customer centric now. Things should be more bespoke, more tailored. Extra frugal. This model thrives on a culture of less is more. High quality service at a low cost. Data powered. Usually, there are a lot of saying that data will never lie. Data is always correct. So if it is data powered, the chances of success is very high. Skynet, this model makes intensive use of machine to increase productivity and flexibility in production. So basically, latest use of technology like automation, we can talk about artificial intelligence, all of this in production. Some of this might not be directly useful in Happywell, some might be. Or maybe if tomorrow you want to diversify from travel industry, you want to buy a manufacturing company to do the proper risk management, then this technology can be useful. Next is open and liquid. This model looks outward with a view of creating an ecosystem by linking customers. Example, Facebook, PayPal, a lot of social media websites, we can do Instagram and all of this. So what they do here, you must have seen companies posting things on Facebook and YouTube. They just create an ecosystem. They see what their fans or basically people who are part of the ecosystem are commenting, what they like, what they dislike. This is very common in the gaming industry also. And this will help them to come up with a good prototype. And if the prototype is successful, they'll launch a full-on product also. Because if they go without a prototype, the chances of success will be low. I mean, it's a very good option for Happywell also. We can have a YouTube channel. We should have, I believe we already have, but not mention YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook pages, where we are updating on what's happening on the holidays. You know, we should even market with some of the good influencer. We can sponsor this vloggers. Who are vloggers? This people who make videos, right, on travels. We can sponsor their trips. We can choose people who have millions of followers. So that will also create market and improve our sales. Okay. Then next is employee retention digital world. Employee retention is also difficult now, especially the skills, IT skills, for example. So companies need to be very focused. They should have a proper policy to retain them. For example, you know, in COVID time, most of the business moved to online, almost all. And when they want to come to offline, people choose to resign rather than working for a company to offline because they shift to the natives or, you know, smaller towns. So that was a problem. Secondly, certain companies now are following hybrid work, 2 days office or 3 days office, rest days working from home. So need to change with the timing. So flexibility is very important now. Basically, the culture is now work from anywhere. Work with staff to formulate company's value together. Empower with workforce and give them incentives to perform. Example, via long-term company share plans, project leadership responsibilities, or training opportunities. Build workspaces that attract digital talent. How you will make workspaces? You can hire them from social media. You hire them directly from LinkedIn. You can do certain quiz. And those who win, they'll get an internship. They'll get a job like this. Flexibility and dynamic appearance in the workplace inspire creativity and collaboration. Flexibility at work should be there. Dynamic, it should not be something boring concept they have been using for decades. Even if you see nowadays, the young companies, their office design is also something like funky. They do a creative paintings and things like that, especially startups and small companies. Then great policies that support collaboration, knowledge sharing tools. So we have to train our employees, help them to grow, help them to collaborate rather than just compete. These are just some points. If you think of better idea, you can point it out. Leadership skill also need to change in the digital world. Communication is very important now. Communication, especially by digital means. Imagine the company is going for digitization, okay, and the board of directors themselves is not using technology. They are just being physical most of the time. So that won't be a motivator. They want somebody, the board should be even more tech using technology. Journey management, they have to manage people's journey. Obviously, people will stay with the business when they see their personal growth, not only company's growth. Make changes visible, whatever you're planning on, change management. Continuous change monitoring should be there, feedback, support. Vision and mission of the companies. What is our vision? When you'll achieve it, why we are creating it. It should be integrated to every employee from top to bottom. Strategic planning. Strategic planning usually was long term, but now because of dynamic industries, it has becoming short term. Driver of information based business models. Enabler of the shift to on demand operating models. So let's say how they can benefit from workplace crowdsourcing, staff on demand, or sometime outsourcing kind of work they can use instead of hiring the full-time employees. Operational excellence driver, identify ways in which automation can be introduced into processes in all departments of the organization. For example, in our business, we need to have customer support. So out of the customer support, we can see what things can be automated. We can have FAQs, that's like an old thing, but frequently asked questions that can be answered. Nowadays, companies have started videos on FAQs. Videos can also be there. So wherever things can be, we can automate it to save the cost and to make more effective and available 24/7 for the clients. Okay. Do you think anything else that can help leader? Okay. 2 questions for you guys quickly before we close for today. Some points how we can improve the leadership qualities of digital culture, or maybe qualities required to be a leader in digital culture. And secondly, how you'll empower or how you can retain employees. Both are similar only. First, steps to employee retention. Second is the skills required for a leader, apart from what they have given here. Madhav, are you back?
Yeah, I have not disconnected. I'm on class only.
But I was asking you a question, but you never replied.
No, actually, I was going through. I mean, I was listening to my laptop. The voice was very low, so I just again shifted to desktop. Now I'm able to hear things.
Okay. Yeah. Did you listen now my question?
Yeah, employee retention and
Skills for the leader.
skills for
Leadership skill, basically.
okay, leadership skills. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Okay. You think, Hanan, can you start? Just 1-2 points.
Yep. So let me start with skills required for moving online, right? So I think the first one is we need to be able to okay. So basically, we need to be agile and adaptable, because if we move to a more online business, then it keeps on changing over the years. So we need to be able to agile, and we need to be able to adapt very quickly. Other point is that um, um, we need to so like in Happywell, inside the company, we need to implement or like train our staff new skills that will be required as we move on to an online business. So that's another point. And the second question was about how we can
Leadership skills.
implement. Yeah, so I mentioned 2 points, right, for leadership skills. The first point was adaptability and agility. So basically, we need to be able to adapt very quickly because online business is like it keeps on changing over time. Every few years, there's a new uh, technology or trend. So we need to be, as a leader, we need to able to change very quickly. So that's one point. And the other point which I mentioned was that we need to, like within the team, for example, me as a leader, I want to implement or like train my staff with more skills that are required for like online businesses. So that's another point. And the second question was about employee retention. I think for this, what we can do is we can give them training, and this training can teach them new skills are that are implemented within Happywell if they move to an online business, right? Completely online business. And another way we can retain employees is that we can attach bonuses to their contracts. For example, if they learn certain skills and if they implement certain skills, we can give them a percentage of the bonus. So I think that this is also a good point.
Percentage of the bonus, or we can include them when deciding the remuneration. We can take their advice.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, good. Promise, what's your point on this?
So a point that I could add to the employee retention is like how Hanan mentioned that we could offer professional development opportunities to our employees. So like develop them career-wise. And we could like show like our appreciation. And then like you mentioned that we could like schedule employee performance reviews. That would be a way of showing our appreciation. So we're basically adding them into the decision making of like how they performed and developed. And then with the digital leadership, sorry, just hold. I'll let you know now.
Okay.
Okay, so with the digital, like being a digital leader, we could be well aware of the changes around us. We could also like include that employee retention, like reward our employees, like those who like are well aware of the digital change in our industry, and they like pointed out to us, like come up with ideas on how we can overcome that.
Right. You can even use what your companies are using, when you're working, and take some examples which you like from your work culture or the policies. Okay. Madhav?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what's your answer?
So I'll start with the employee retention skills. Hello?
Yes, please start.
Yeah, am I audible? Yeah. So I feel like first one is focusing on the hiring process, because if first of all we need to hire the persons properly, and an opportunity has to be given, and offering a competitive salaries and benefits, because everyone works for. I mean, everyone works for the thing. I mean, we have to achieve in return to that as well. So proper achievement has to be given, and encourage the people, additional benefit, additional incentives like that if they're performing well. At the same time, like showcase the training opportunities like this. This is the skills like these things can be implemented. These things can be implemented for employee retention. And hello.
Yeah.
And at the same time, as you have made a point, like nowadays how the employee retention is going on, there's a technique people are using nowadays. If they are skilled persons and the company really wants them, and if they are offering work from home opportunities, a flexible schedule, and promoting the work balances, sometimes reducing the, if they have more responsibilities, if the employee is given more responsibilities, then he has to be given a support as well. So that it will also help. It is also like one of the way of it is one of the technique to retain employee retention. And when it comes to leadership skills, I feel like there are 4 walls of leadership skills: communication, problem solving, decision making, and management. Because these are the main important things: how you manage, how you communicate with the people, the way of our communication. Because if you shout and if you just keep on scolding, that is not the leadership skills. When you have as we have studied in the management, when we have as a manager, if we have a power, we are more responsible. When you have authority of power and raising on the employees, you should be more responsible also. So the way of communication is the more important thing as a leader, because you should not simply throw the words. That is the one thing. And problem solving. If anything, if the team is in any problem, if there are any if in any situation they are not able to come, you should be in a situation to solve the problem and making a decision about what to be done, how to be implemented, whether these things can be done or not. This is one of the way. And management. If you're leadership means you're managing a team or you're managing things. So how do you manage? So these are the 4 walls. And as a manager, you need to have some creativity skills as well. And like creativity skills and some of the active listening skills, time management. These things also are a part of leadership skills.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Great. So we have done till chapter 3 today. Actually, Friday is a small class. We do it for 1 hour. And tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, we'll do it for 2 hours. Okay.
At what time we have tomorrow? Tomorrow I have office, so I need to go to office. So can we have on the same time? I request everyone. Everyone comfortable?
Same time will be